Golf Podcast with Tux Austin Hambino, brought to you by the Golf Trip Junkie. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram at the dadgolf podcast, on X at the dadgolf pod, Facebook the dadgolf podcast, and check out our website dadgolf.club. Hambino, am I missing anything? There's like 15 social networks that I have to keep up with nowadays.
We're on YouTube now, so
yes, we are on YouTube.
Yeah,
we are officially idiots with a YouTube channel, so that's always great. So since Ian and I are morons, we decided to bring on somebody a lot smarter than ourselves, Dr. Jonathan Jenkins, doctor. So we'll just leave aside my 2 college degrees on that side and Ian's 1.5 that he has from a community TCC.
Come on, I didn't go to TCC. Get that out of here.
Is the newest dad of a 5-year-old Ford and is a clinical and sports psychologist at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, where he works with youth and amateur and professional athletes. Along with working with athletes, Jonathan also engages in traditional therapy with people from all walks of life, which he assists them with working through challenges. This past year, Jonathan and his middle school friend, Matt, who I thought was going to join us tonight, but Matt bailed because he's in, Norway, just living his best life, started No Bunkers No Bogeys, a golf community, an online golf community platform for often overlooked and underrepresented golfers. Jonathan's first ever golf outing occurred nearly 15 years ago during grad school when his mentor took him out on the golf course and fell in love with the game since then. He took a brief hiatus, but he's back, and we're lucky enough to have him on the channel. How is Dr. Jonathan Johnson, aka JJ, doing today? I appreciate it.
I'm doing good. If somebody's a doctor, the first thing you know is they got a ton of student loans. So definitely that ball and chain is definitely still following me to this day. I think I got to pay them off until I'm 50. But other than that, I'm feeling great. It's a beautiful day in Boston, and happy to talk to y'all.
Well, we're happy to have somebody from the Northeast because most of us, most of the people we've run through have been, South, West Coast. Speaking of South, Hambino, how's life down in Florida?
It's fantastic. Yeah, it was a pretty chilly 60 degrees the other night, so I put on a pullover and watched the game outside. It got down, I'd say, in the mid 50s one morning, and I debated taking the kids to daycare. It's a little tricky out in the streets when it gets to 55 degrees. I'm a little nervous, but the roads could be a little slick, a little ice. So, but we powered through it, being the men that we are, and got them to daycare. And yeah, now it's back to being 80 degrees with low 65. It's perfect.
You do know you're warm-blooded. You know you're warm-blooded, right? You can go out in the cold. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. In Tallahassee, when I went to school, I took any excuse I could to not go to class. And if it was legitimately like 50 degrees, I'd be like, nah, I'm out. I'm not going to go. Okay. So I'd let Tucker go for me. Take notes.
JJ, going to school at Florida State, it was this huge joke that when it rained, just no, if it wasn't perfect outside, nobody went to class.
Well, see, there's to add to it, the parking situation on that campus is so bad. And so, if it was anything poor and you got stuck parking, on the other side of campus, and it takes legitimately from end to end, 30 minutes to walk, that's why I'm nah. If I'd try and find a parking spot in, why am I drawing a blank? The main parking lot, Tucker, right when you get. But if it wasn't there, basically, I just I'm out. I just drove back home.
You're talking to a dude that lives in Boston, Massachusetts, where for 5 out of the 8 months they're in school, he's wading through 4 feet of snow, and you're complaining about a couple.
No, but he's clearly a stronger man than I am, and that's why I probably need to get therapy. So
okay. I went to grad school in Colorado, so they would have,
oh my goodness,
the hugest snowbanks. But the weird thing about Colorado would be it would snow overnight, and then by the afternoon it was 50 degrees, so you get these huge kind of flash floods from all the ice and the snow melting. But it was beautiful. But y'all went to Florida State. Florida State has two of my all-time favorite college athletes. The first being Charlie Ward. He's one of my favorite players, New York Nick and quarterback, and then obviously Deon Sanders.
Yeah,
Prime
time, baby.
I love prime time.
No, Charlie's such a good dude too. I mean, he's very modest, and he's just every time like I've seen him at a booster event, he doesn't. You don't know he's Charlie Ward, and those guys, which is the complete opposite from Deon, right? Who's going to be like, I'm Deon, but yeah, Charlie's a great representative of the university. But that's awesome. Yeah, number 17, and you're right, the Knicks. That was. I remember when growing up, my uncle was a big Knicks fan, so I grew up watching him too. So I know all about that. Those teams were kind of scrappy, man. I remember when they were the 8 seed, the Knicks went. I think they beat the Heat or somebody. I don't know. They ended up getting to the finals. They got smoked by San Antonio. I don't think Charlie was on that team, but I just remember like growing up watching the Knicks. So
JJ, this is actually this wasn't on my episode list, but this leads into something that you're on the psychology side of the game. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Coach Prime and the people that he's brought in, and like Travis Hunter, and like how just as from a dad standpoint of somebody that like would recruit your kid, or like from going and playing with him, how does that like confidence that comes from a coach actually feel when you're talking about an organization or a sports team? Or I mean, you work with a lot of these sorts of situations more than Ian and I. We just speculate.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the first things that I love about it's disruption, right? So when we think of business today, startups, tech businesses, we're looking for disruptors in the industry. So the Netflix that can kill a blockbuster. And so I think the way that he's running his program disrupts the status quo of college football. And so whether you like it or not, it's giving young athletes an alternative to some of the ways that traditional programs are run, where the name on the front of the chest is more important than the name on the back of the jersey. And so I think what Coach Prime is really doing, he's providing a link to social media in the NIL era that will give these young athletes a lot of visibility and opportunity to make some pretty good income. But he's also, from what I've heard and what I've experienced from watching it, really providing a lot of fatherly grounding for these young men and also the women that are involved in the program. And I think they're gravitating towards somebody who seems invested in their success and is able to kind of give them some of that tough love and honesty that some of the other coaches might not. And having spent time in Colorado for grad school, I didn't go to University of Colorado. I went to UC Denver. It's a beautiful campus, and the natural home field advantage of 5280 and Mile High is just unbeatable.
And do you think that sort of bravado, that's, Deon would call it that swag, right? Do you think for young athletes is a good or a bad thing?
I think it can be both. I think with Deon, what he's doing is he's saying you can be swaggy, if that's a word, and it sounds disgusting coming out of my mouth, but you can have that swag if you're willing to back it up. It means nothing. It is empty. It is meaningless if you just have swag and you're not putting in the effort on film, if you're not being a good citizen on campus, if you're not trying hard on the football field, if you're not a person that your brothers and your sisters can count upon. So I think he's allowing them to kind of get that feeling out, that confidence out, but also holding them accountable for the things that kind of scaffold that confidence and give them the ability to walk that walk and talk that talk.
Well, we're again, I didn't have that written into this episode, and it just kind of came up, and we're off the rails already. To put us back on, just so everybody knows what we're doing this episode, and I just wanted to get your take on Deon because it's such an interesting take. We're putting together our best playlist of songs out on the golf course today. We're going to talk about some stories around our kids and the game of golf. And talk about No Bunk's mission and a little bit about JJ's business a little bit. But first, my friend, how do you feel about hot dogs?
Love them. I grew up going to Fenway Park, the Fenway Frank, is a staple of every New Englander's lunch growing up, in particular. But I love hot dogs. I'm down with the grizzly.
So, if you've listened to some of our episodes, we like to throw guests in the deep end and do this little segment we like to call Wiener on Your Mind, where we ask you 5 quick hot dog related questions just to get the people to know JJ a little bit more on a personal level. And
Okay.
what more of a personal level can they get to than knowing what your hot dog preferences are? Let's be honest here.
I can't think of anything else. Social and mother's maiden name. That's probably it. But
Well, if you want to send me your social
no,
over email, that way I can get a couple credit cards going. We got some advertising to pay for.
My man's already in enough debt. You don't need to add to it, Tucker.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, somebody wants to impersonate me and steal my identity, they're going to come with a ton of debt.
Exactly.
Jokes on them.
I applied for a credit card. Capital One's like, nah, that dude's got too much debt.
Homie.
Done.
Yeah.
All right, so Wiener on your mind. 5 hot dog related questions. Are you ready, JJ?
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy. Hit me. Let's go.
Well, it's more like Family Feud, right?
Oh, Family Feud. Okay.
Yeah. Ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup all day. Can't stand mustard.
Potato or pretzel bun?
I didn't even know pretzel bun was a thing. I'm going potato.
You gotta have a pretzel bun, my friend. Red or white onions?
No onions. Got to keep the breath fresh.
That's my guy.
Grilled or roller dog?
I don't know. Grilled.
Chili or no chili?
Say that again.
Chili or no chili?
No chili.
It's exactly the hot dog I would make, is what he just described. Everyone always goes with onions, and I'm not an onion guy. I don't get the onion thing.
One thing that I do, and I don't know how normal this is, but I'm going to put it out there in the atmosphere. I will grill some cheese on the hot dog.
That's a first. We haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, so you butter the bun.
Yeah.
Grill the hot dog. Right as it's done, you put a little cheese on it. Get the cheese melted so it's a little crusty. Put the ketchup on top. Boom. Change your life.
Like an American slice of cheese, or do you have a different?
No, you can't go American. I'm 39 years old. I'm not putting American cheese on my food anymore. Get some better cheese of that. I just like some cheddar or some Swiss or something, a little provolone, something with a little kick.
I like that. That.
It looks sophisticated when you pull it out on the golf course.
Oh.
Just feel like.
There
you go.
I'm just imagining you, JJ, with a shredded bag of cheese that you're pulling out. Like some starters stopping you on the first tee, like, sir, you can't have a personal cooler out here. There's no alcoholic beverages out here, and you're like, no, man,
just shredded cheese.
Just my pimento cheese. I mean, if you're not keeping a bag of cheese in your pocket, then you're just unprepared for life situation.
Cheese left pocket, cheese right pocket. I love this.
It's fantastic.
It
is true, because you know what's ironic about that is, for whatever reason, I have the pickiest eater son in the world, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, Britt decided to just bring out cheese today, and Britt's like, "Eat this cheese, let's just try the cheese," and he's like, "No," and she's like, "Well, you can't have dessert if you don't eat this cheese," and then all of a sudden he's like downing cheese. Like, he all of a sudden discovered in life that he loves cheese. So here we go. But God forbid you put cheese on bread. Absolutely not. He'll murder you if you do that. So, but at least we got cheese down. So, ironic enough,
cheese is good fat. Yeah,
that's it.
So every time I make pizza at home, that whatever bread it's on, whether it's English muffin. By the way, if you have English muffin pizzas, right, or a staple, at least when I was growing up. But like I'll take like the bag of mozzarella, half of it goes on the pizza itself, and then the other half of the bag I eat over the sink. And then my wife yells at me because when I go to spray it down, like the hot water will like semi melt it, so it like sticks to the edge of and she's like, "You need to stop doing that, and like it's disgusting." And it's like, well, but it's tradition, so I mean, it's a 50-50 coin flip there. I don't know
Can-
how
can
you
I-
feel about eating just shredded cheese over a sink, JJ, but I'm pro.
I've done it before. I'm not ashamed to admit. But I will say this: I learned a trick in Long Island with shredded cheese. So ordering one of those New York style slices comes right out of the oven, and then what they would do at this restaurant, name escapes me right now, they would put kind of room temperature or a little bit chili mozzarella cheese on it as it comes out. Blows your mind, like the temperature difference and the texture with the the cooked cheese versus the cheese just put on it. Delicious.
I'm not opposed to trying that as well.
Yeah,
This is great.
yeah.
I'm learning
Get a little
things new
frisky
all
on
the time.
Friday night. Give it a shot.
It's true.
I might have to do that. Wife is going to see the new Taylor Swift movie this Sunday, so maybe that's what I do Sunday night.
You opted out of that?
Yeah, I'm trying to get as far away. I don't mind Taylor Swift. I've never minded Taylor Swift, but now my Sundays are completely full of Taylor Swift as I try to watch football, and then my wife's going to see a Taylor Swift movie, and then there's a new album, and then she's on every commercial, and again, I'm not hating on Taylor. I think she's phenomenally talented. She's obviously probably the smartest businesswoman that's ever existed around her music and how to build a brand, right? But I'm sick of her. Much like, when you get to the end of like a family pack of nacho cheese Doritos that you've just been sitting there eating all day, and you get to the end and you really like the nacho cheese Doritos the entire time you were eating it, but the last 4 or 5 chips that are on there that you feel like you need to eat because there's only like this much of the bag left. That's how I feel about Taylor Swift right now. She's the last like couple of chips in a family size pack of nacho cheese Doritos, and I feel sick and I just want to go to bed.
So I will say this, as a recent entrepreneur with my co-founder, Matt, I want everybody to know, especially the Swifties, that we love Taylor Swift. Because we don't want any of that Taylor Swift smoke from the Swifties. They will come and they will find you like Liam Neeson and take it. I don't want none of that.
I was just about to add that, like, I don't mind Taylor Swift at all. But Taylor Swift's fans, the Swifties, remind me a lot of how, like, I would consider like Florida State Twitter, right? So you have like your genuine, I went to school, loved the university, Florida State, totally respectable. To be fair, I'd go dabble down this road too. So I'm also guilty. But then Florida State Twitter is the most toxic, awful thing on the face of the planet in terms of college football fans, which is completely misrepresentative of like most Florida State alumni. And that's kind of how I feel about like the Swifties, in a sense, almost kind of are turning me off to Swift. I do, however, love that like people are like, can you believe how nice Taylor Swift is? She's making Travis Kelce. It's like, no. Like Travis Kelce is incredible on his own, right? Like that was not a Taylor Swift made Kelce thing. But yeah, I can take it or leave it with Swift. If the Swifties give me a bunch of 1-star reviews, then I will apologize. But
it'll be too late.
It probably will be too late. It'll be the most exposure we probably get on this thing. So
they're gonna meet you in a parking lot. You better watch your mouth.
Probably.
So speaking of toxic capitalism, it's time for an ad break. So we'll be right back.